Body fluid circulation. NCRT based single sentence questions. Let's start. All living cells have to be provided with dash and other essential substances. Also, the dash or dash substances produced have to be removed continuously for healthy functioning of tissues. So here, all living cells to be provided with nutrients and other essential substances. Also, the oxygen, then waste or harmful substances. Also, the that waste or harmful substances have to be removed continuously for the healthy functioning of tissues. It is essential to have efficient mechanism for the movement of nutrients and harmful substances. Nutrients and harmful substances. Simple organisms like dash and dash circulate water from their surroundings through their body cavities to facilitate the cells to exchange these substances. Simple organisms like sponges, simple organisms like sponges and coelenterate. Simple organisms like sponges and coelenterate circulate their water from their surroundings to their body cavities to facilitate the cells to exchange substances. More complex organisms use more complex organisms use special fluids within their bodies to transport nutrients from harmful waste material. Dash is the most commonly used body fluid by most of the higher organisms, including human, for this purpose. Blood. Straw colored viscous fluid of blood is called as plasma. Blood is which type of connective tissue? The blood is special connective tissue consisting of fluid matrix, plasma, and formed elements. Another body fluid of higher organism along with the blood, which helps in the transport of useful and harmful substances, is lymph. Major proteins of plasma are fibrinogens, globulins, and albumin. Fibrinogen, globulin, and albumin. Major proteins of the plasma which are helpful for the clotting of blood, fibrinogen. Major protein of plasma which are primarily involved in the defense mechanism, globulin, immunoglobulin we call. Major proteins of the plasma which are helpful in osmotic balance of the body are albumins. Factor for coagulation or clotting of blood are also present in the plasma in inactive form. Fibrinogen, inactive form. Plasma also contains small amounts of minerals like sodium ions, calcium ions, magnesium ions, bicarbonate ions, and chloride ions. Dash and dash and dash are also present in the plasma. They are always transit in the body. That glucose, as we call nutrients, amino acids, and the lipids are also present in the plasma, that they are always in transit in the body. Plasma without clotting factors is called serum. Percentage of plasma in the blood. Percentage of plasma in the blood 55%. Percentage of water in the plasma 90 to 92%. 90 to 92%. Percentage of proteins in the plasma. Percentage of proteins in the plasma 6 to 8%. 6 to 8%. Percentage of formed elements in the blood. Formed elements in the blood 45%. Percentage of neutrophils in the WBC. Percentage of neutrophils in the WBC 60 to 65%. 60 to 65%. Percentage of basophils in the WBC 0.5 to 1%. 0.5 to 1%. Percentage of monocytes in the WBC. Percentage of monocytes in the WBC 6 to 8%. Percentage of acidophils or eosinophils in the WBC 2 to 3%. 2 to 3%. Percentage of lymphocytes in the WBC 20 to 25%. 20 to 25%. Percentage of formed elements in the blood. Percentage of formed elements in the blood 45%. 45%. Number of RBC in healthy adult man per cubic millimeter of blood 5 million to 5 millions to 5.5 million per cubic millimeter, 5 million to 5.5 million. Okay, then percentage of number of WBC in a healthy human per cubic millimeter of blood 6,000 to 8,000. 6,000 to 8,000. Next, number of platelets in healthy human per cubic millimeter of blood. Number of platelets per cubic millimeter of blood 1,50,000 to 1,50,000 to 3,50,000 per cubic millimeter of blood. Amount of hemoglobin in healthy person per every 100 ml of blood 14 to 16 grams per 100 ml of blood. Enucleated and nucleated cells of blood respectively RBC and WBC. Average lifespan of RBC in human 120 days. Average lifespan of RBC in human 120 days. Leukocytes are generally short-lived. RBC have a red colored iron containing complex protein called hemoglobin, hence the color and name of this cell. Visceral organ which is considered as graveyard of RBC. Visceral organ which is considered as graveyard of RBC, spleen. Molecule which play a significant role in transport of respiratory gases in blood are hemoglobin. Visceral organ which RBC are destroyed after death, spleen. Erythrocytes are also known as red blood cells. Erythrocytes also known as red blood cells. Leukocytes are also known as thrombocytes. Leukocytes are also known as thrombocytes. Platelets are also called leukocytes are also known as white blood cells. Sorry, we have small mistake here. White blood cells. And platelets are also called as thrombocytes. Leukocytes are colorless because they lack the pigment called hemoglobin. Absence of hemoglobin makes them to white. Two main category of WBC are granulocyte and agranulocyte. Based on the presence of granules, we classified it as granulocyte, agranulocyte. Neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils are collectively called granulocytes. Lymphocytes and monocytes are collectively called agranulocytes. Reduction in the number of these components can lead to clotting disorder, which lead to excessive loss of blood from the body. Platelets. Absence of platelets makes them. Erythrocyte, leukocytes, and platelets are collectively called as formed elements. Most abundant of all the cells in blood are erythrocytes, or we call it as RBC. Most abundant cells of WBC are neutrophils. Most abundant cells of WBC are neutrophils. Least number of white blood cells in the human blood are basophils. Least number basophils. Organ in the adult responsible for the production of RBC, red bone marrow. right? Bone marrow. Dash and dash are phagocytic cells. Neutrophils and monocytes are said to be phagocytic cells which destroy the foreign organism entering in the body. White blood cells which participate in inflammatory reaction, basophils. White blood cells which participate in inflammatory reaction, basophil. White blood cells which resist infection, eosinophils. White blood cells which participate in immune responses of the body, lymphocytes. White blood cells which participate in allergic reaction, eosinophils. Inflammatory mediators secreted by basophils are histamine, heparin, and serotonin. Histamine, heparin, serotonin.